my story. So I've been a TC now for around about 5 years. I joined in March 2020, a week before COVID, so it was good timing on my part there. My life was very different over 20 years ago. I would say very different indeed. I was homeless at the time, had addiction problems, and I had done custodial sentence as well, prison, things like that. So it was a very, very different path then. I turned my life around over 20 years ago, and I met my wife. I'm now married, got 2 brilliant kids, 2 girls. Around about 5 years ago, I'd never had any issues, but I'd always wanted to do my own thing. I've been in travel for over 15 years now, and I just knew I had to do it for myself, and there was another TC, and he advised me and just said, look, you should really do it, you'd be great at it. He didn't tell me that COVID was going to come and that my business would happen like that, but it was the best thing that I've done by a mile. I haven't looked back since. I think it was, why do I want a business owner? I would say originally it was for my family. I always just thought, they've supported me loads, and it was kind of a prove yourself thing really, wasn't it? And it wasn't until a few years after that I realised it was mainly to prove a point to me as well, and you're doing well, you can do this. But the flexibility as well, my eldest daughter, for example, years ago I was working all the hours God sent, and I really do regret that. So with my youngest daughter, we get a bit more time, but I still get more time now to do things with my oldest daughter as well, to try and make up for that. So, it's not all just about the hours, because, it's okay being flexible, but you do get those calls at 2 o'clock in the morning still. But it's just having that flexibility to do how you want to do it on your terms, as long as your customers are aware of how you work, really. A typical day for me, my wife would say very long, but she does miss the bits in between that just give me that flexibility. I kind of have to have a structure. So in the morning I'm always up between 5 and 6. I'll go sit in the garden, have a coffee. I won't look at my phone, for the first hour. It's not meditation or anything, but I will just chill out, and just work out what I'm doing, through the day. I will do the usual. I do the school run in the morning, but I would have probably gone through my emails before that, so between 7 and 8:30 to catch up on any emails that have come through overnight. In the morning I tend to get back to the office, and what I'll tend to do is just go for any new inquiries that have come over, overnight. Get back to those guys straight away just to acknowledge it, let them know what my timeline is at the moment. You do get a lot of people who are messaging on social media, and it's quite hard to miss sometimes, easy to miss sometimes, so you just have to make sure that you're on the ball there. And then I'll go through admin. I try to do my admin around about lunchtime, really. I do have someone who works with me as well, who looks after all my admin, so that's taken a lot of time really, which just, like I say, gives you that flexibility to do what you need to do. In the afternoon I'll probably contact the customers who have previously inquired and go through quotes, make sure that they've received the quotes that we've sent over. It could be supplier training as well in there, or our policies that we have to do that we get sent to make sure that we're compliant every month. Then around about 3 o'clock I tend to do a bit of a siesta, so I'll do the school pickup again, and if I've got to do any shopping or hospital, doctor's appointments, anything like that. And then kind of see how the evening goes. With this job, the people who tend to be inquiring for a holiday are 9 till 5 workers, so a lot of the evenings are following up calls, speaking to customers, but the day gives you that flexibility to take it a little bit slower, and I think being personal with the customers as well, they understand, if you're like, I'm free at 6 o'clock, they'll talk to you at 6 o'clock. Then I check all the emails at 8 o'clock. I do that religiously. It's something that I've learned to do. Make sure that I've read every email, responded to every email, and then try and close the laptop at 8 o'clock. I don't think I've done that once in the last 6 months, but it's the flexibility during the day and the weekends, and that's on my terms. I decide to work to 8 o'clock, so that's on me really, but flexibility is brilliant. The best thing about being my own boss, is probably the key word I think that we've used today, but the flexibility, just being able to do things with my family when we want to. I can call on, I work in quite a few teams now within Travel Counsellors. Even today, for example, you can call on another travel counsellor to say, look, I'm going to be out of the office, for 2 days. Are you okay to cover my business? And you don't get that flexibility. You're still earning an income. You're still being paid. But it's just brilliant. It's just being able to do, go away on holiday when you want to. I don't have to ask anyone if I can have 2 weeks off, or, and just being able to take my family on some amazing trips as well. Things that probably wouldn't have happened. Well, I know they wouldn't have happened if we didn't have the flexibility and was able to be my own boss. How have I grown my business? Touching on what we touched on earlier about joining before the pandemic, I had to think of different ways. Initially, I'd always been intent on just being involved in cruise because that was my background, and cruise being the last thing to open really for a spanner in the works. I kind of picked up early that there were people with a lot more knowledge in certain areas, and I'm not ashamed to say that. So I started working in teams initially for the first couple of years, just drawing on other people's knowledge and just building an income that way. And it worked really well, and I'm still in a lot of teams now. So, Disney team, for example, if your knowledge isn't great on that, there's somebody out there who will help you and work with you, and you can still earn an income on that. So I think that really helped. And I've seen a nice growth over the years, and now I'm on target to hit what I want to hit this year. And I had my highest turnover last year, so I exceeded over £1 million worth in sales. So it's going up, but I think it's important to reach out to other people in the community, and your income will just go higher and higher if you're not ashamed to ask for a bit of help now and again. Have the relationship and management team supported me? They're invaluable to me. I have said it before, I've said it to plenty of people, I've got no shame in saying it. They kept my business alive for me at times. In the early days, I know we keep going back to it, but it was difficult. And you just build up, obviously the term relationship manager, but you do build up a relationship with them, and they become friends very early days. They would pick up on if something wasn't right, if something was right, they're the first to message you and say, brilliant, I've just seen you've done this, or well, you've been a bit quiet lately, Dean, is everything okay? So it is more than just what are you booking, what are you doing, that comes last. They do generally want to help you develop and understand how to do that. So yeah, for me it's been invaluable. They really just know how to help me develop. For me, they've been invaluable. What does the Travel Counsellors community mean to me? Everything at the moment, I have to be honest, and it has for the last few years. It's like one big office, I suppose. That's the way to look at it. There's, if you really tap into it and realise that there's so much knowledge out there, you've probably got thousands of years of experience, really, if you look at it like that. And yeah, it just means everything now. It's not like I don't think of it as they're over there. It's, you get up in the morning, you've got an inquiry, you might reach out to one travel counsellor in Liverpool, you might reach out to one in Exeter. They're all there for you, and that could be work-related or personal reasons. And I think that's what makes the difference. That's what it means to me, is just knowing that they're there, really. I enjoy visiting head office. I try and come up twice a year, really. Obviously, being down in Swindon to Manchester is not always that easy. The reason I enjoy it is, I think somebody said recently, well, not recently, a few years ago, said to me, work on the business, not in the business. So it's really important to take time away sometimes and go up to the head office, look at what you're doing with the business, but to see the people behind the phone calls, behind the emails, because I think it just helps you build the relationship. I would say probably some of the guys here now I talk to every other day, and you only see them twice a year. But it's just really important to come up here, sit down, thank them as well. They are there constantly helping you, and we can take that for granted. So I think sometimes it's just really nice to come up here, see everyone, and just remind them of who you are as well, I suppose, and be grateful. The advice that I would give to someone becoming a travel counsellor would be to do it, but do your research first. Speak to anyone you think you know within travel counsellors. Even if you don't, reach out to a local TC. But ultimately, I'd say definitely do it. It's not easy, so you do need to see both sides of it. Yeah, I'd definitely say come up to head office, do a discovery day. They're absolutely brilliant, and you get to see everything behind the scenes as well, and you see just how big the team is behind that are there to help you.